come to my KW office with me for a buyer's consultation. It's going to be a full-blown buyer's consultation with real clients that got referred to me by a mutual friend. So here I am on my way to the office. It usually takes 15 minutes to get there. And we have a brand new building, beautiful. I have a gorgeous office. There's nobody here. I mean, maybe a few people. So I'm already in the office. And I always come a little bit earlier to get ready. I always love to be prepared. So I'm going to show you what my clients are going to get when they come to the initial buyer's consultation. They usually get some kind of a gift, but also a plethora of information about how the process of buying a home in New Jersey looks like. So first and foremost, they're going to get a folder with all the information about how we sell homes, what we do, and actually a flyer with some QR codes that's going to lead them to our social media pages, but also our website and Zillow reviews and whatnot. Usually they get beautiful buyer's guide, but I have just ran out of them, so they're going to get a printed buyer's guide where I explain the whole process step by step. So this is in writing, but today's buyer's consultation is all about information. So I'm going to explain the whole process to them. And usually with the questions and examples, it's going to take around between 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So at the end, I'm going to get a little gift with the logo. It's the mag with Dagmara Kubisiak Realty Group, also some branded pens, but also they're going to get items that they're going to use during our home search. That might be useful. A little bit of the disinfectant, tiny measuring tape. You know, so how some people are, they always like to measure if the furniture is gonna fit in the rooms. Chapstick, branded one, and a little flashlight to look in those little crevices or basements, because some homes don't have lights in them. So that's what they're gonna get today. When we are going to be getting closer to securing their dream home, they're going to get another package with some other items like packing labels and of course some gifts for the new home. But as far as the initial consultation is, it's all about information. I also have my laptop with me, and I'm going to show them, once they tell me what areas they're interested in, we are going to check what kind of homes they can get a hold of with their budget. And that's why I always have my laptop with me, so we can check it live. So let's say they tell me I want to live in Manalapan and I have this and this budget. So I want them to see with their own eyes while I'm searching in the MLS together with them, next to them. I want them to see what's realistic and what's not. So that's a very good, valuable lesson. I started doing this last year with my buyers, because that way they can see and be realistic about it right away. So they don't have to wait for me to send them those automatic emails and then be surprised that, oh my goodness, I cannot afford this. So usually during the initial consultation, we're going to talk about it, but also they're going to see it with their own eyes, what they can really afford in the area they have chosen. So that's what it is. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for them, I'm preparing actually a tour for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have 11 homes with my other clients who are looking to purchase a home for their student daughter. So it's gonna be fun long weekend. I'm looking for homes in this heat, but this is what we love doing with our clients. So I cannot wait for them to get here. How did I find these clients? They were highly recommended by a client of mine who invited me to a listing presentation last year, and I advised her against selling because she's in a difficult divorce situation. So she hired a lawyer, and she's gonna try to stay in the house with the kids because that's the optimal situation for her and the kids. But in the meantime, we became friends. She actually realized that the value I am providing with giving advice from the heart, not to sell the house. So she's now recommending people, her friends. Actually, the couple who is coming, they are very close friends with her, and I really greatly appreciate it. So let's see the clients. What am I wearing today for the buyer's consultation? Those dresses that I told you about. So this is a dress. Sometimes I wear it to church, but for a business meeting, it's gonna be with a nice blazer. Today is summer, so that's why we are wearing light clothes, and that's what it is. In the meantime, like I said, I'm going to get the tour ready. I mean, I have all the confirmed appointments. Now I have to just print out the client sheets and my sheets for tomorrow, and I will be good to go. So when I actually schedule the tour, this one, since the client sent me the list of homes the day before yesterday, I was able to organize the tour yesterday. I requested all the showings, but obviously since it's such a big stretch of time, a few days, some of the homes are already in attorney review, some of them are under contract, so that's why some of them are just crossed out. But on to the printing now. Printing is actually the last stage of getting ready for showings for next day. First, we have to check if all the homes from the list that the clients are sending us are really available. Then we have to reach out to the agents to see if a particular time slot is available. We have to confirm it. So that's how we do it. So now, after I have printed all of those 9 homes, I'm going to be marking with a highlighter the most important things on the sheet, because for most clients, when they're starting the search, they're not going to know where to look for example, for taxes or HOA fees or even the listing price, because it's very confusing. And since we're using different MLSs, it's especially important for me to highlight those items that are of most importance, and that's how I always do it. So let me show you one. So for example, on this one, it's gonna look like this, and like I said, it's gonna point the client in the right direction. So I always highlight the county, the town, the address, number of bedrooms, number of full bathrooms, number of half bathrooms, the price, and if it was a change in price, what it came from. Like for example, it was listed at 400, then they dropped the price to 350. Listing date, it's important. Listing date is very important, because if it's been sitting on the market, especially in today's strong sellers market, it means that maybe there is some room for negotiation of the price. And then I highlight the square footage of the property if it's provided by the listing agent, and then I provide the year that property was built, if it's a condo, if it's a co-op, a single family home, if it has a basement, garage, or any parking spaces, as well as the taxes and monthly HOA fees. And in most rural areas, I pay special attention to tell my clients if the property is been run on septic and well. That's extremely important. My clients are here. Whenever I meet new people that I have never met before, we always start with building some kind of rapport by asking them personal questions. We try to get to know each other. I allow them to get to know me, and I'm trying to get to know as much about them as possible. We definitely talk about the person who referred me. We're not gossiping, we're just talking about that person, but it's always a very beautiful time. I provide them with coffee, tea, water, so it makes the situation a little bit more comfortable. And once we get to know each other a little bit, then we are starting the process of me explaining the whole buying process from start to finish. I think it's the most important step in the whole buying process, only because number one, you're getting to know your future clients, and number two, they know from a get-go what's ahead of them. I think it's crucial to do this every single time. So here we go. This is the whole buyer's consultation just for you guys. Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. First, I want to give you a piece of paper so you can write, have something to write on.
Perfect.
One for you. One for you. So you're thinking about buying. Do you have a condo? Do you have a house? What do you have right now?
Yeah.
Is it enough space for you? So lenders, what they do, they look at your expenses and then they put it under the ratio. So they do the ratio. Usually they prefer to have it around 39% or something like that is ideal income to debt ratio, but she's going to explain it to you when you talk. Don't worry about it. Also depends on the down payment.
Yeah, we would like to have 20%.
20%.
Yeah,
okay.
so to avoid that mortgage insurance.
Yes, mortgage insurance, yes. It can be a few $100s per month. So what have you been thinking about location-wise? No, I'm going to be right here.
Overbridge, Edison, Colonia,
That's
So Woodbridge, Colonia, Edison.
Edison.
Is
Yeah.
selling
Oldbridge.
Aldbridge.
Oldbridge too, I think.
So you need 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms, yes.
Okay. You need, I would say, 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
I mean, I can live with one.
And you need some kind of a nook or whatever
Yes.
office space.
Office space.
The basement is not required because, you know,
Yeah.
condos don't come with basements usually. Townhomes might.
yeah, that one too. I mean,
We'll see about the price.
the
but
pricing,
yes.
exactly, and how much we can qualify
Yes.
for the, yeah.
So, okay, what about the garage?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
It's a
because,
plus.
with
It's a
without,
plus,
yeah.
but yeah.
Okay, but not
We can,
necessarily.
you know, two bedroom option, 1 bedroom option, a garage option.
Okay.
You know, see
All right.
the pricing.
It would be
Not
nice
gonna
to
hurt.
store some, you know,
Yeah,
things because we
usually-
have bikes and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the townhomes or even the condos come with like a little storage unit in the
Yeah.
basement or
Right.
somewhere in the corridor or upstairs
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about that too much. So now the main thing is, so what do you think your maximum budget is? What would you like to spend? Let's not talk about what the
Yeah.
lender thinks, because
Right.
you say 20%, so you have the number in mind.
Mm,
So what's that number?
400 or 350 or 370 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 400 is probably maximum, right? Like I'm thinking like,
Yeah,
I don't
it
know what monthly
should
payment would that be.
Yeah, she has to calculate that.
yes.
You'll talk to them.
Right.
Don't worry about it. I think 400 is a good budget because
Mm-hmm.
we're not talking about single family homes, right?
No.
I mean, if there is something, but
But, you know, as far as condos are concerned and apartments, right? That's doable, I think.
yeah.
So also when the lender is going to talk to you about numbers, taxes are a big
Yes.
thing. So we're going to tell the lender approximate number of taxes. We're going to have to give them the number. But I think with condos in those areas, you don't have to worry about anything higher than 10,000.
Okay.
No, I would feel comfortable with something between 6 to 8.
Yeah.
That would be ideal, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And also with condos, there's an HOA fee. That's
Yes.
the problem.
Mhm.
Because some of those condos are really beautiful and centrally located and all that stuff, but then you look and it's like $600 per month for HOA, and they don't have anything basically. But in Ciderville, actually, there are 2 beautiful developments where you can for 400 you can buy something really, really nice, and taxes are lower. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous areas. All right, so let's talk about the process. Okay, so I prepared some stuff for you guys. It's in English, but it's not a problem. So whatever we're going to be talking about today, everything is in here. So you can always go back to it and take a look at, what did she mean? Because I know it's a lot of information, and while we're going through the transaction, I will tell you, do you remember I told you about this during the initial consultation? And you're going to hit the blank, like, what is she talking about? Because it's too much. But, okay, so we start searching, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all those requirements into a few MLSs. I have access to all the MLSs in New Jersey because
What's MLS?
MLS is like a portal where all the agents who are listing properties have to put their properties for sale. And then Zillow, Trulia, and all the other pages are pulling the information from us.
Okay.
So first it has to go into the MLS. And every MLS has a number of towns or areas under itself. So for example, Middlesex, Central Jersey MLS is gonna best to look for Oldbridge, homes in Oldbridge, Piscataway, South Amboy, Ciderville. Let's say if you want to go, you wanted to go to Freehold or maybe Manalapan or Englishtown, you'd have to go to Flex MLS. So different MLSs. But with most of the towns you're mentioning are actually Central Jersey MLS, so it looks like I might be able to fit in that one. So I'm gonna put you on an email search, and once a new property comes on the market, immediately you're gonna receive it. It's gonna be 3 a.m. or whatever, 7 a.m. If you like it, because the market is still very competitive, and if you like it, just text me, screenshot it and text it to me and say, Dagmara, we are interested in this. And I know people are working from Monday to Friday and you're busy during the week because you want some time up to yourself after you come back from work, but there is no time to wait till the weekend. I'm going to show you. My client called me yesterday. She sent me a list of 11 homes for tomorrow, and already we're going to see only 5 because 7 are gone. Because if somebody wants to sell, not every seller wants to wait till the weekend.
Yeah.
Some, especially those more greedy ones, they're like, oh no, I want to show it to so many people. But there are people who are like, no, the first buyer who comes up with the price I want, I'm gonna sell it to them. So if you like something, let's just go even see one in the evening. Okay. But sometimes people are like, no, I'm working during the week, I'm tired, I want to see homes only on Saturday or Sunday. We can do that as well. And also, when you see something on Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com, just screenshot it, send it to me. Because what's happening with those, sometimes my clients call me and they tell me that, Mara, you didn't send me this house, it's on Zillow. I'm like, let me check. So I go into the MLS and I see, oh, this house was sold 10 years ago. It's not for sale. Sometimes they just bait click people. They are just, okay, they're gonna click because it's a gorgeous property, but it's not for sale. So I have to verify everything. So just send it to me, or you're passing by, you see the sign, just send it to me. Okay? I'm sending you the properties, then we are going searching. It might take the first time we go, if we find this perfect property, or sometimes we've been looking like the most with 2 years with clients, like every weekend, because somebody might be picky or something. Or sometimes we make offer after offer after offer, and they're outbidding us. But I always say, there's always.
Who prepares the offer? Like you?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
I have no idea.
That's why you have me, because I will be guiding you through everything, and I will be advising you on how much to offer, not too high, not too low. It's not a problem to go like sky is the limit. No, everything is the limit, because you have to look at the property. Like let's say you want to sell it in 5 years. Am I gonna get my money back?
That's true.
And sometimes clients tell me, Dagmara, I'm gonna stay in this house forever. I don't care. I can overpay 200,000. So they do it, and then they call me 3 years later. Oh, we are getting a divorce. We have to sell. What now? No, we have to be prepared for every scenario.
All the options.
All the options.
And for how long is the pre-approval valid?
Usually 2-3 months.
2-3 months.
And the lenders I'm going to give you, 2 ladies I'm going to give you, you're not getting charged for the pre-approval. Because if you go to a Polish bank,
they say $100.
Yes, and then you have to renew it every month or every 2 months and pay $100 every time. Those 2 lenders I work with every day, when they say they're going to get the mortgage, they're going to get the mortgage.
Okay.
And who is paying those brokerage then if she doesn't charge? Like how the process with the fees? Like I know, once you're closing, like who gets what and how much I need to be prepared for that.
Okay, yes, I will explain everything. So let's start from the start. So we go out, we find the perfect property. You tell me that, Mara, this is our dream home. We want to make an offer. So then I try to find out from the listing agent if they have other offers. Probably it's going to be multiple offers. Probably it's going to be a bidding war. Not every agent is going to tell me how many offers they have or what the numbers are, but they say it's multiple offers, give me your highest and best. And usually in the MLS, it's going to say they're going to list the property, they're going to be showing it, and then let's say they list on Saturday, and it's going to say in the remarks for agents, it's going to say highest and best are requested by Thursday 5 p.m. What it means? It means that we have until Thursday 5 p.m. to submit our offer, because at 5 it's a cutoff day, cutoff time. The seller is looking at all the offers and choosing the best one. Highest and best means you have to provide your highest number and best terms. And usually, if my clients are interested in a property, I ask the listing agent, what is your client looking for in the offer? Because not always it's the number that matters to the seller. Sometimes it's the closing date. Sometimes they want to stay in the property for 2 more months and rent from the new owners. So, there are different things, especially now when the market is so crazy. So, once we find this property, I find out all these different terms, what they are looking for, and then we make an offer. So I prepare the offer. It's a standard New Jersey contract. I will let you know what applies to our transaction. And I fill out all the information and I send it to you for signatures and initials. And then I sign it, and then it goes to the seller. And once they accept it, after we negotiate a little bit maybe, then they sign it and their agent signs it. And this fully executed contract, still, you're not obligated financially or legally to anything. You can say, I want this agent. It's not, so you don't have to be worried, oh my goodness, I'm signing something. No, you don't have to worry about it. So let's say we sign, they sign, that means that we agreed on something, on the terms and on the price. The terms are usually the amount of the down payment.
So the owner make attention to the down payment?
Yes, I tell you why.
Why?
Let's say we're buying something to be even, calculate evenly. So let's say the property is worth 500,000. You are putting 20% down, which is 100,000. That 100,000 down payment, I'm writing in the offer, I'm dividing into two unequal parts. Let's say in this case, depending on how competitive other people are, the buyers, how many offers, I would say let's do 40-60. $40,000, which is called deposit or earnest money deposit, is going to be delivered to the seller's attorney or buyer's attorney 2 weeks after we go under contract. And this is being held in an escrow account, just in case in the middle of transaction you say, oh, I changed my mind, the money is gone. It's like a security to the seller. Okay. So that's why it counts, because the higher the deposit is, the more serious you're looking in the eyes of the seller.
Because you challenge them that I give you money, so you have
you
no
can
choice.
be sure that I'm very serious about
it.
it. But if you give them 5,000, they're not even going to look at your offer. What if you change your mind? They're going to have 5,000.
So down payment is very important.
Very important, and the deposit. And the other part of the down payment is going to be delivered at closing. So the remaining 60,000 is going to be delivered at closing with some other expenses, which we're going to talk about soon. So it's a lot of money, it's a lot of situations. So everything, like all these terms, are being actually included in the contract. So the seller, when they are looking at it, they are putting big down payment, and they usually like when it's 20%. Because why? One more thing. Most lenders, if people are putting usually 25% or more, they are waiving appraisal, and we're going to talk about it. And it's also important because nowadays, let's imagine that the property is listed at 500, and there's 10 offers on the property, and people are outbidding. So let's say the highest offer is going to be 550. Okay, 50,000 over asking. And let's say whenever there is a mortgage involved in the transaction, the bank who is giving the mortgage has to send the appraiser. The appraiser comes, let's imagine this property is, we're offered 550. The appraiser comes and says, no, in my eyes, this property is only worth 500, that's it. And then what? There is a $50,000 difference. Somebody has to pay for this difference. So 4 scenarios can happen. Either the buyer comes up 50,000 more out of pocket, but still they have down payment, they have the closing costs, and now this is crazy. Or the seller goes down to 500, which they don't want to do it because they accepted 550. Why? So they're losing money, right? Or usually what happens, the buyer comes up with 25,000 and the seller goes down 25,000. So they meet in the middle and the price is going to be 525. Okay? Or they don't agree on this and the deal falls through.
Does this happen a lot?
Yes, especially in today's market. But to prevent this, and sellers are smart about it, what buyers are doing right now, and some of my clients do, is when you're writing an offer, to make the offer even sweeter in the seller's eyes, we are saying if the property doesn't appraise, we buyers are going to cover up to $10,000 in the appraisal gap. It's called appraisal gap. So then they know, oh my goodness, so if it doesn't appraise, we don't have to worry, they're going to cover 10,000. Because some clients are saying, Dagmara, we're going to cover anything. I'm like, no, because you never know what the number is going to be. What if an appraiser comes and it's going to appraise at 400? You have to cover 150. It's too much. So sometimes people put a cap on this appraisal gap when writing an offer, and sellers love it. Some people waive the appraisal gap completely and they are willing to cover anything, but I advise against it. So once you sign the offer with the terms, they accept it, that offer goes to both attorneys. You have an attorney and they have an attorney. I can recommend attorneys, I work with all the time, great people, no worries here. And then still you have the right to say, I changed my mind and nothing is going on. Nobody's going to chase you, nothing.
Even with the contract and the both lawyers and stuff.
Yes.
You're just gonna waste the money of the fees. That's it.
No fees for lawyers. Most attorneys and all agents are getting paid at the closing table. So that contract goes to both attorneys. And now the attorneys are starting the process called attorney review. Attorney review means the attorneys are reviewing the contract. And this attorney review process can last between 3 to 14 business days. depending on how fast they communicate between each other. That's why it's so important to have this good attorney who is responding, not sitting in court all day, not available. Believe me, sometimes it's crazy. And what do they do during this attorney review? So they take the contract, they send emails to each other. So your attorney talks to you, and you can talk to your attorney, and you can talk to me. The attorneys communicate between the two of them through emails. I see the emails, you don't. That's why it's important we stay in touch. So you tell me what you told your attorney, and I just make sure that he's written this week. Yes. So what our attorney is going to say, for example, if the property doesn't appraise, my clients are not coming up with extra money. Or if, let's say, during inspection, it turns out that there is an oil tank on the property, my clients are walking away, the deposit is going to be given back to them. So things like this.
Let's say we got a pre-approved for 3 months, and there is nothing in that 3 months. What's going to happen in that pre-approval? Is it going to be expired? Is it going to be extended?
I can call, or you can call your lender and say, we need an extension. That's it.
Okay.
That's simple.
So they give another 3 months?
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect.
Very easy.
Oh, okay. So we don't have that pressure like you.
No. It's very easy. I wouldn't worry about it. But then, once the attorneys agree on all the terms in attorney review, and the attorneys sign on your behalf,
There's no going back.
there's no going back. I mean, there is a way, but it has to be legal way. So when we finish attorney review, and then we go under contract. Or on Zillow or other pages, you're going to see pending, contingent, whatever. It means they signed the contract. So now you have 2 weeks, usually 2 weeks, to do all the inspections, but also to provide the first part of the down payment, the deposit. Okay, so you deliver the deposit. Usually I always put in the contract that the deposit money is supposed to be delivered to the buyer's agent, because I want to protect you. I want your attorney to have it. Sometimes they don't pay attention, the sellers, but sometimes it should go to the seller's attorney really, and they change it during attorney review. If they change it, then the check goes to the seller's attorney, but it's in escrow account, nobody's supposed to touch it, okay? It's safe. So we have 2 weeks to do the inspections and provide the check. The inspections, okay. If it's a condo, apparently it's not going to be septic or well, so we don't have to worry about that. We do the general inspection. I can recommend great inspectors. So the inspector comes, and actually the money...
And also like a state inspector? What kind of inspector?
No, it's a private inspector, but they have to be licensed. And he comes and he checks plumbing, electric, windows, basement, everything. And that inspection of a condo shouldn't be more than 600. That's the only thing you have to pay out of pocket before you close. I mean, one of two things. You can pay cash or check or whatever. And the inspector comes, he checks everything. Of course, he works for you guys. I'm going to be there with you, both of you, and we're going to ask him a million questions. And I have inspectors who are not bothered by questions being asked. And then he prepares a report. Let's say the inspector comes and says, the electrical system is old, it needs to be replaced. He sends the inspection report, we sit on the phone, we talk about all the items, and I ask you, what do you want to be fixed? What do you would like to have credit for? Sometimes it's like minor things, but sometimes it's bigger things. For example, like electrical bugs, right? Or plumbing, or like there is structural problems. So we make a list, we send it to our attorney, we want credit for this, we want the seller to repair this, we want credit for this, and then he sends it to the other attorney, and the seller has to give
them. Lower the price? Or?
No, they can say no to everything. They said no, we're not doing anything.
They usually do.
No, usually they are cooperative.
Okay.
So you can ask for $1 million. I had recently a situation like this.
Oh, really?
Not million, but close. And they don't have to agree to anything what you ask them. But usually if they are serious about selling, they will say, okay, I'm going to fix this. I'm not going to give you 4,000 for the new electrical box. I'm going to give you 2,000. It's
something like that.
Something like that. Unless it's a real person who is like, no. Then we have to think about, do we still want to continue with this property? Or that's the point where you can legally withdraw, cancel the deal because you have a legitimate reason. Yeah. You have a legitimate reason. We don't agree on terms, and then the deposit is being given back to you, so you don't lose it. Okay, so that's one thing. And then in the meantime, you're working on the mortgage. It's going to be a disaster. I have to warn you. the lender is going to be paying
Checking
the
it
butt. Sorry about the expression, but my clients call me all the time, Dagmara, I'm going to kill this lender. Why are they asking me the same question 10,000 times? I'm like, because I told you this is going to happen.
Is you're getting money.
Yes, so your lender is one person you're going to be dealing with, but behind this lender, there are 10 other people who work for this lender, and they don't communicate between each other, and they can ask you for the same thing because they don't know what the other person has, because the system is built that way.
Yeah.
So there's no leakage of information. I know it's
Crazy.
crazy. But most important thing, once you decide to look for a home, don't open bank accounts, don't close bank accounts, don't open new cards, don't buy anything, don't co-sign loans, don't do anything like that. To the lender about it, because sooner or later they're gonna find out about it anyway. I'm gonna give you an example what happened to one of my clients, two actually. So one of my buyers, it was a two-family home. The mother lived on the first floor, and the children, the daughter and the son, lived on the second floor. And they were paying her rent every month, $1,000. It was a few years back. And we were purchasing a property for those younger people. And 1 month, the guy put a check for the rent, $1,100 instead of $1,000. And the bank was like, what is this? What an illegal activity is this? Why did you pay her $100 more? The deal almost fell through because the bank was crazy about it. Please don't put cash in your bank account. Never ever. Lender is gonna be looking at everything. She's gonna tell you, do this, don't do that. Be honest with them about the finances and everything.
So they will not like hold it against us. They will
No,
help.
they want to help you because they want to,
They're gonna lend you the money, help you lend.
Yes,
get the money.
yes, exactly. So it's in their best interest to help you. So we went through the inspections. Now you're working on this mortgage, which is driving you crazy. You're gonna call me and say, Dagmara, this is crazy. I don't do this. Sometimes people call me and they cry. I have enough of this. I'm quitting. I did it myself. One time I told my husband, because of course it's on my head. Usually women take care of this.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Paperwork.
With the other stresses.
And I told my husband, our lender is driving me crazy. I'm quitting. I'm not doing it. I'm not buying this home. I'm done. Because it was so awful, asking for everything like 5 times. One time, I had a Macy's card. And usually I go to Macy's, I buy some stuff, nothing like fancy schmancy. So 1 month I spent $45. I don't know what I bought. And 2 days before closing, the lender called me, Dagmara, we cannot close this loan because you spent $45 in Macy's. I'm like, but I paid it off already, right away. I sent the check. They don't see it, they cannot find it. I'm like, what do you mean they cannot find it? I mean, what fuss about $45? Like, I always spend money in Macy's, right? So the transaction got postponed to 2 months because they couldn't find it that I paid off. I said, call Macy's yourself.
You mean it was from the credit card of Macy's?
Yes,
like
credit card, yes.
Okay.
So they called Macy's. Macy's said something. So finally, after 2 months, they said, okay, we're gonna deduct $45 again from you because we cannot find it. And then 3 months later, I got my money back. They sent me a check.
Oh my God.
Yes. Once my lender asked me, why did you spend this and this amount of money, like $200 on whatever shoe? I bought shoes for my son. I'm like, because I need It's crazy.
So just keep credit card zero balance. Pay
Don't close it. Don't open new ones. Don't close it. Just zero balance is perfect.
Yeah.
Don't use it.
So just try to spend below what we make.
Below the means. Yes.
Exactly.
Below the means. Yes, that's true. So we went through attorney review. We went through the inspection. Now you're working on the mortgage, but in the meantime, this infamous appraiser guy or girl comes and trying to appraise the property. All right. So I told you about the scenarios that might happen when it doesn't appraise. And then again, if the seller doesn't want to go down, you don't want to come up, the deal falls through and the deposit is being given back to you. And actually the appraisal fee is another payment that you have to pay during the transaction, not at the closing table. It's around $800 to $900. It's a lot. Okay, but it's included in your closing costs, so that money is going to be deducted from your closing costs. Now, we talked about down payment, we talked about the purchase price, we talked about you have to pay for the inspection, and we talked about you have to pay for the appraisal. The only thing left is closing costs. Closing costs in New Jersey are between 3 to 4% of the purchase price. So if you're talking about $500,000, it's going to be between $15,000 to $20,000 extra.
Just the closing fees.
Yes. However, everything is not everything, but a lot of stuff is included. First and foremost, 2 months of your mortgage payments is included in that price. So let's say your mortgage payment is going to be 4,000. 8,000 goes towards its first 2 payments. You move in, you don't have to worry about 2 first payments. So that's the security for the bank. That's how they do it. Some banks charge 3 months, but it's very rare. Okay. Then your attorney's fee is included in closing costs. Stuff like FedEx fees between title company and the attorney is included in that price. The biggest chunk of the closing costs is what title company charges for their work. So you're working on the mortgage, we are working on inspections, appraisals and stuff like that. And in the meantime, your attorney, once we start the transaction, is hiring what's called title company. Title company is crucial. It's the most important entity during the whole transaction. It's not the attorney, it's not me, it's not you, it's the title company. Why? Title company is an entity that's going to be hired by your attorney to check if there are no liens on the property. They go back to the beginning of the existence of the property and they see if maybe somebody didn't pay a bill 10 years ago. Maybe there's something in the court, there's a case against this property. You never know. So title company is crucial. So they check stuff like that. They check the buyers and they check the sellers. Everything. They're going to know about everything about you guys. Then at the end of this search, they come up with a title search report and title insurance policy. That's the only type of policy, insurance policy in America that works backwards, not forward. Usually, in case you insure your car in case there is an accident, right? With title insurance policy, what happens, let's say in 10 years you're going to sell this property and it turns out the new title company who is representing your buyer comes up and says, oh, there's this bill not paid 20 years ago. You have to pay it before you can sell the property. So that title policy covers you to some extent, not all of the instances, but most of them. So that would come up from this title policy.
Then you have to buy that.
You cannot close without it in New Jersey. And this search and everything costs about between $3,000 to $4,000. That's why it's a big chunk of this closing cost. And the insurance policy is between $1,500 to $3,500. It's a one-time payment. Okay, that's why this closing cost is a lot of money. But you really need this. Okay. And one more thing that's important: while you're working on all of this, the seller has to get what's called certificate of occupancy and fire certificate from the town that the property is located in. Every town is different. Some towns require both certificate of occupancy and fire certificate. Some just require fire certificate. But no title company is going to close until you have this in hand. They want to make sure that the inspector from the town comes, checks everything. So it's independent of our inspector. The inspector from the town comes, checks everything.
This is for free?
No, the owner has to pay for it. That's the owner. Sometimes sellers are greedy. So sometimes they might put in the MLS information for me before I show you the property. Oh, in this case, the buyer is responsible for the CO inspection. It's usually between $100 to $200. But sometimes a lot goes into it. Because even putting new smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and new fire extinguisher, it can be like $300, $400. So when they tell you to do it, it might be a lot of money, So, but we'll go one by one. That's what's happening. Questions?
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot, right?
That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, we never even knew.
No.
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
People
I'm already emotional. Freaking out.
Yes. Usually when we come up with the report after the inspection, the seller is going to get offended. No, my beautiful home, you want this and this, that's BS, I'm not going to do this, whatever. It's extremely emotional. That's why in America, buyers and sellers don't have contact. They don't communicate. Everybody has an attorney and agents, so we can calm everybody down. I had situations where buyers and sellers are almost ready to each other.
Yeah.
My God.
So to close, the title company has to issue clear to close as well as the mortgage company. Everybody has to say, we're clear to close. The mortgage company is clear to close because they have all the numbers, everything is ready, and the title company has all the paperwork, they are ready. One more thing that's important. So pre-approval is at the beginning of the journey. During the transaction, and it's going to be put in the contract, in the offer, I'm going to put mortgage commitment. The mortgage company has to issue mortgage commitment. Once they issue mortgage commitment, that means they approve went through all your paperwork, 100% they're going to give you the mortgage. Okay, and this mortgage commitment usually comes 4 to 6 weeks after we start the transaction. And this mortgage commitment date is going to be put in the contract. I'm going to put it in because I know my lenders, I know what they can do, how fast they can do it. Usually everybody is strict about that date. If you're going to be late, if the bank does not send mortgage commitment by one day, the seller might be, send it to me, because they want to be sure that you're getting the mortgage, right? Especially because it's so long in the transaction, like 4 to 6 weeks. The transaction with the mortgage usually lasts between usually 2 months. So let's say we make an offer, it gets accepted, you can expect the closing 2 months later. Unless the seller says, it says in the MLS, that the seller is looking for a 6-week closing. So then I talked to the lender, do you think you're going to be able to do this with these clients, 6 weeks? And she said, yeah, of course, don't worry about it, then we can do it. I'm going to be in touch with them, that's a long process.
At which point we're paying you, and how much is that, the percentage is?
So far in New Jersey, until August 17th, the fee is covered by the seller.
Oh.
It's in the MLS.
Okay.
But actually this year, there's been a huge lawsuit, I don't know if you've heard about it, NAR, National Association of Realtors. The lawsuit originated from California 7 years ago, and they just settled that from August 17th, the buyer will be responsible for paying their agent. And the buyers are not allowed to go with agents unless they sign the agreement, and everything is explicitly put, like how much.
You already down payment 20% plus about 20,000 closing fees.
Yes. Yeah, I mean 15 maybe, lower price point, like
it depends how much they have.
Yeah, exactly, because it depends on the monthly payment, right? If the mortgage is 2,000, it's gonna be less. I always try to say, okay, let's do the bigger picture.
Yes, the calculations.
Yeah, so
we'll know more after we meet with the
exactly.
lender.
Yes.
So how much we can, like usually how much, of bringing home, how much percentage you should put for mortgage so you live comfortably, because I really don't want to just pay the mortgage. That's we have.
No,
if I'm young, maybe.
You are young.
No.
So when you buy a condo or house, like this equity, what we can do with it?
Equity.
So what the lender is not is not worried about that.
About what?
Like the equity, like you can have the loan, another loan against the house.
Okay, so every year the equity is going to go up because the prices are going to go up, right? So you get more equity. And let's say you buy it this year, and 2 years from now you want to buy a single family home and rent this one. So this equity, you can use it. You can use 80% of your equity for something. You can buy a horse, you can buy a car, you can buy another house. That's how it works. It's a beautiful thing. I have just finished the buyer's consultation with the sweetest couple ever. And I have to tell you that the good that you do in the world, it always comes back. So a few months ago, actually last year, I went to a listing appointment. I went to see a lady who is in a very tough situation because she's getting a divorce and she thought she had to sell her house. And I told her, is there any way you can keep your house? Because it doesn't make sense for you to sell a house and move out with your 2 kids only because your ex-husband wants you to do this. So I referred her to some attorneys that I know, and she's actually working with them on keeping the house. So instead of telling her, oh, you can get this and this amount of much money for the house, let's list it tomorrow, I think I did what was in her best interest, meaning that I think she should keep the house. Oh, well, I'm not an attorney, but she was crying, she didn't want to leave the house. I'm like, you don't have to sell it, let's try to fight for it, and maybe you'll be able to keep it. In this despair that she was in, she didn't even think about hiring her own attorney and about asking the attorney about keeping her house. So right now she's keeping her house, she's staying in the house with her 2 daughters, and this is the 3rd referral she gave me from her friends and colleagues, only because she appreciates how honest I was and how hard I put into our conversation, and I gave her this advice, and now she's probably gonna stay in the house, she doesn't have to sell it. She's always recommending me to everyone she knows, and like herself, most of her friends and colleagues who come to see me are really, really great people, good-hearted, kind personalities, and I appreciate it so much. So that's why I'm telling you that the goodness always comes back. Even when somebody wants to do me wrong, I always say, maybe because I'm Christian, but I always say, God bless you, and I just walk away. The consultation went very well. Before they came to see me, they only knew that they have to pay the deposit when purchasing a property in New Jersey, and basically that's all. So it was very informative session for them. I answered all their questions and they loved it. I loved it too. I loved the way we talked because we got to know each other during that time. Got the feel. We talked about the market. We talked about getting pre-approved. I gave them the name of the lender that I think would match their personality and style also. I always try to match my attorney and the lender with my client's personality. I think overall it went beautiful and we're starting the search tomorrow. So if you are looking for a house in New Jersey, just give me a call.